the heart of the bustling New York City, hidden away in a dimly lit alley, there was a restaurant that had remained a well-kept secret. It bore no name on the outside, just a neon sign that flickered ominously. This was the place where Charlie's ill-fated dinner date would take a terrifying turn. Charlie had met a girl named Sarah on Instagram just a few days before, and their conversations had been filled with excitement and anticipation. Sarah was a photographer who seemed adventurous and charming. She had suggested they meet at a unique, off-the-beaten-path restaurant, an idea that intrigued Charlie. As he approached the restaurant, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of unease. The dimly lit entrance and the strange patrons who entered sent shivers down his spine. Nonetheless, he decided to go inside, telling himself it was just pre-date jitters. Inside, Sarah was waiting at a corner table, her striking features bathed in the eerie glow of the crimson lanterns that hung above. She greeted him with a warm smile, and her charm soon put him at ease. They chatted, enjoying their meals and sharing stories as the hours passed. However, as the night wore on, Sarah's demeanor began to change. Her laughter grew strained, and her eyes took on a malevolent glint. The once inviting atmosphere of the restaurant now seemed suffocating, as if the walls were closing in. When Charlie excused himself to go to the restroom, he couldn't help but overhear a hushed conversation between Sarah and a group of strangers who had entered the restaurant after he arrived. They whispered of a plan and spoke in cryptic code words that made his heart race. Charlie knew he needed to escape, but he couldn't simply walk out. Panic coursed through him as he realized that he was seated far from the exit, and Sarah and her group were watching his every move. When he returned to the table, Sarah's smile had turned into a sinister grin. Desperation drove him to concoct a daring escape plan. Pretending to have left something in his car, he asked Sarah for her permission to step out for a moment. Her agreement was laced with malice, but she seemed unaware that Charlie had his keys in his pocket. He dashed out of the restaurant, his heart pounding, and made a beeline for his car. Before he could start the engine, Sarah and her mysterious companions emerged from the restaurant, their intentions clear. They approached him, their eyes filled with malice, but Charlie managed to elude them. He peeled out of the parking lot and raced through the dark streets of New York City. His pulse didn't begin to slow until he had put a considerable distance between himself and the would-be kidnappers. In his rearview mirror, he saw Sarah and her friends standing by their car, baffled and infuriated by his daring escape. Charlie had narrowly escaped what could have been a horrifying ordeal. He couldn't believe how close he had come to becoming a victim of a nefarious plot. As he drove through the city that night, he couldn't help but shudder at the thought of what might have happened if he hadn't acted quickly and decisively to save himself from the clutches of a sinister dinner date.